Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be doing my pro planning for the month of August for Global Default. Now that we got everything pretty much confirmed, or almost, because technically we are having a potential either early FR, a new FR. At this point it could be anything, but we're still going to talk about the two characters that I think might be showing up for that event, or at least one of these two characters might show up for that event. We're gonna briefly talk about them a little bit. I will be making a separate video about those two potential characters for those who are curious to know if they are worth pulling for and whatnot. Then I will be making a separate video before the release of that event. So do not worry, I got you covered when it comes to that, because I do have experiences with both of those two potential characters. So I can give you guys a pretty solid opinion on both of them and which one in my opinion is a better one. So but yeah, let me know down in the comment section below what your plans are going to be for the characters that are going to be released for the month of August. If you're going to be passing up on them, pulling on them, are you going to be greening any of the BTs that's going to be released for August? Do let me know down in the comment section below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and begin. So I've already talked about Gabranth and Layle alongside with the LD characters that is going to be released with these, or with the next pair of BT units in my Who Shoot You BT Plus video. But for those who may have missed it, I am going to be pulling for Gabranth's FR and BT. For Layle, I said that I was going to pass up on him, and I probably still will pass up on him, but for some reason, I don't know why, but I am just wanting to green him just to green him, just like the same way that I had no reason for greening Gabranth. You know what I mean? So I kind of want to have him in case I have an opportunity that I can actually use him, but at the same time I'm like, I should probably save my resources because I do have another BT coming up afterwards, which is going to be Sherlotta, that I will for sure be pulling on, because that is a character I do actually want, and we'll get into that here in just a bit. But as of right now, my plans are pretty much going to stay the same. Going to be pulling for Gabranth. I already have Rude, Pain, Steiner, and Saz, so I ain't got to worry about them. Rude, for those who may not know, great Brave Battery via skills, great healing. He does have HP overflow. Pain, depending on what position you have her in the team, she will be offering either great party auras, or if not, as I like to call it, negative auras for the enemy. Or she could do a mix of both as well. If you place her in the center, then she can do that as well. But overall, she's not a bad character whatsoever. Then we got Steiner. Steiner's not a bad character. He does have a good amount of defensive auras with his LD buff, and he also has that Crow EX effect where he is able to battery the party. I believe it's based off of his max brave, or each of the characters max brave on the team, and that is something that actually does not expire, because with Crow's overhead it does expire after 5 actions, but Steiner's it does not. So Steiner's not a bad pickup in my opinion, but he's situational when it comes to his overall kit. And then Saz has that he has that unique mechanic where he has that stolen brave damage up, or it's something like that, where he is able to basically add more brave on top of the brave that you are already shaving, so that he can actually help your characters via as an LD call, actually putting him on the team, even though more than likely you'll probably use him as an LD call. He'll be able to basically make it to help characters who suffer in trying to meet the HP cap. Then Saz is a great character to use in helping those specific characters. But I already have all of, actually no, I don't have all of the LDs. The only one that I'm actually missing is Saz. So if I do manage to get his LD now, that would be fantastic, because that way I'll be able to show off exactly what I'm talking about. That is going to be for that. Next up, we got the Ursula event, and then we got the potential early FR, or maybe a brand new FR. So Ursula, she's going to be getting a rework. Her rework is very solid. More HP dumps, more Brave Battery, if I'm not mistaken. Her FR, actually, if we go to the City of Compendium, I can let you know exactly, because her FR is related to the amount of Brave that your party has. So if we take a look at her kit, her force ability is 15% increase whenever the Brave is at least 20% of max Brave at the start of turn, and like you can either have Ursula making it so that everybody pretty much has like practically all of their Brave, or you can even use a call ability attached to Ursula, which the number one that actually comes to mind is going to be Iroha, because Iroha, with her LD call ability, you are actually able to retain 20%, if I'm not mistaken, 20% of your max Brave after, depending on the amount of HP damage that you actually deal as well, if I'm not mistaken. It's somewhere around that ballpark, but that LD call ability actually does help out in meeting that first condition. And the other condition is pretty much whenever the Brave is at least 100%. Again, Ursula is able to do that with her kit. So as you can see, like, even though you do actually have other characters that is able to help out in meeting this condition, like in my opinion, this FR is more so for her, and it's not a hard FR ability to meet if you pair her up with like the right characters or the right call abilities as well, which I will talk about that more in depth whenever we get closer to her Lost Chapter release. But as of right now, I did pull for her FR on my JP account, and I'll be honest, I really didn't use her that much. I mean, it's not a bad FR, but again, I feel like it's more so for her. And depending on who you pair her up with, can actually help out with those, or help out in meeting those conditions. But I think this time on the global side, I'm probably gonna throw maybe at most 100 or 200 tickets just to see if I can get it for like maybe a showcase. But if I don't get it, I'm probably gonna pass up on it, just because like there is a few other FRs for the month of August that I would actually that in my opinion I actually value more than Ursula. So as of right now, I'll probably just throw a minimum of 100 to 200 tickets, and that's about it. Now, for this potential either early FR or a brand new FR, I mean, if it's a brand new FR, cool. I mean, there is a good amount of characters that do not have an FR just yet. So if Global were to all of a sudden get a Global First FR or another Global First FR, not another, no, they have not gotten one. Excuse me. If they were to get a Global First FR, then that would be pretty awesome. But if not, then the two FR units that I think could potentially get their FR released early would have to be Terra or Arden. Now, Terra's FR ability, and both of these two characters were part of a seasonal campaign banner, for those who are curious as to why I am choosing these two characters, because from what I have seen in the timeline, these are the only two characters that did get an FR release with a seasonal banner. So Terra's FR ability is not too bad. I mean, she does get a very good rework, and then later on she does get another rework as well, making her much more powerful. Let's see if I can. Okay, so you are able to increase the HP damage bonus whenever the party, except for Terra, selects a magic ability. And then you're able to increase it whenever Terra herself uses a magic ability, and then whenever the party uses an instant turn rate ability. Her FR, in my opinion, is more so for her. There are other characters that are able to meet some of these conditions, but I don't think you'll be able to meet all of them. Like having to deal magic brave damage or magic ability, and then having to use instant turn rate as well might be a little tough. There is like very little characters that is able to meet this condition, which is why I think that her FR ability is more so for her. The rework that she actually gets, if we take a look at that real quick, and like I said, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I'm going to talk about this a whole lot more whenever she actually does get her release. But as you can see here, when she originally came out to JP, her Meteor now deals 4 HP dumps, and I gotta make sure that I say the right ones because there's 2 reworks listed on here. And then her EX ability, let's see here. Her Riot Blade now deals splash damage twice, and then her Dual Cast now deals 2 HP dumps in total, increases Brave in between those 2 HP, or the 1 HP attack except for the last, extends active buffs, has instant turn rate, doesn't increase friend count, all that good stuff. Her overhead, as for blood, now adds more Brave damage up, attack up, and is able to allow her to retain 20% of the Brave on HP attack. So it's not a bad rework, but later on she does get a much better rework whenever Garnet finally gets her BT and her FR. Well, actually, technically Global already has the BT, but whenever she gets her FR, that's when Terra is able to get her next rework, or the latest rework that she actually got, which also grants her access to the FR Echo. So for me, Terra, if Terra were to be the character to actually pop up for this Red Comet event, I would probably still pull for her, because I think she's not. I feel like she does tend to get a little bit overshadowed, and to be honest with you, I would not be surprised if she actually is the character to get her FR early, because it would actually help her out in terms of longevity for maybe players to actually give her a chance to shine. So overall, like Terra, I'll throw some tickets for her FR weapon. I think I have a BT weapon. I'm not entirely sure if I do or not, but I'll probably throw her. I'll probably throw some tickets at her FR. Now, should you for, I guess, for like players who are trying to figure out like if they should pull for Terra or not? In my opinion, I would say you could probably hold off, especially if you're like waiting for like other characters in like, let's say, like the following months, or maybe like the next few weeks. Then I would say you could probably hold off on Terra. Now, the other character, which is Arden. Arden definitely got a very good rework with the with his FR release. So he got additional uses on his skill 1. His skill 1 is now deals 3 HP dumps. He now recovers Brave in between those attacks except for the last, and he also resets the target's break status, which is also going to help him out with his FR conditions. His follow-up attack now deals 2 HP dumps and is able to increase Brave by 30% after each HP attack, so that's great. His skill 2 gains 3 more uses, 2 HP dumps in total, and then of course remember the follow-up, so technically you'll be dealing 4 HP dumps in total. Then when it comes to his LD, 4 HP dumps in total, 50% splash damage after each HP attack, which is great. It does reset all targets' break status, and then his overkill now gives him more Brave damage up. Now, when it comes to his, his FR though, his FR, when it comes to his conditions, a 20% increase whenever the party, except for Ardent, inflicts break at the end of turn, a 40% increase whenever Ardent inflicts a break at the end of turn, and remember, like, at this point, like practically almost all of his kit is able to inflict some type of break. Not everything, but like almost everything. A 20% increase whenever the party, except for Arden, selects a melee ability. I mean, there's plenty of melee units, so that's not hard to me. And then a 30% increase whenever Arden selects a melee ability himself. So when you look at it, if Arden is able to break and also use any of his abilities, then he is technically getting a 70% increase, and it'll be a little bit higher than that whenever you give him force enhancers and all that good stuff. So it's a FR ability that some of his other teammates could probably help out. If you pair him up with Sephiroth, it's a GG right there. It's like if you have Sephiroth, if you have a strong support, and then like, you know, the Sephiroth's BT effect will be able to help out in meeting his conditions, all that good stuff. And then if you have a strong support character, especially if it's a support character that deals like melee damage or anything like that, then hey, I mean, like, you'll be able to meet these conditions pretty easily. His FR also makes it so that the enemies recover from break faster, which, hey, guess what? That's going to be much easier for not only Arden, but also for his teammates to be able to break as well. So overall, though, his FR is not too bad in my opinion. And with the rework that he is getting, he actually becomes a much stronger unit. And like, I actually token his BT on my main account because I was actually pretty impressed with how he actually performed. So for me myself, I will 100% be pulling for SFR again, just because like I was able to solo one of the Transcendence, which I believe is Transcendence 11, with Arden, and like just overall, like for him becoming a much stronger damage dealer, yeah, I could definitely appreciate it. Plus, I mean, I have played FF15, so I know the history behind Arden, so it was like it was pretty much like, yeah, I need to get this. So, but yeah, overall though, Arden chasing for his FR, in my opinion, would not be a bad idea. But if I had to choose between one over the other, I would definitely go for Arden more than Terra, just because Arden fits my playstyle a whole lot more than Terra does. So that's gonna be my plan for that. If again, if it is a new FR, then I mean, it's a new FR. I'm going to be pulling for it regardless of who the character is and whatnot. Because, I mean, you know, new FR, that means content and all that good stuff. And you never know. It might be an FR unit that I may actually have been wanting for the longest time. Like, 14 characters. So, and I know, you know, Tactics characters need some love too. But, you know, I mean, I've not played Tactics. I have played 14, so I mean, like, I gotta stick with the 14s on the 14 side. So, anyways, next up is gonna be Fujin. Fujin does get an FR and a rework. Also, Caius does get his rework, and they both also get their C90s as well. Caius, I do believe I do have his BT, so I'm probably just gonna take advantage of his rework, and that's about it. I don't really think I'm gonna go anything beyond that, because I did actually give Caius 20 out of 30 for the 4-7 enhancements, but afterwards I didn't really use them. I mean, I've not played 13, so I mean, like, I really don't have too much or hardly any connection at all with a lot of these FF13 units, unless they are like broken or something like that, then that's a different story. But like, seeing as how I have not played, or is it 13-2 if I'm not mistaken, for Caius, I'm probably not gonna do anything too crazy about him. And if I do believe I already have his kit, so you know, that's an easy pass. For Fujin though, Fujin does get a good rework with her overall kit. The thing is though, is her FR is not the best. I mean, yeah, it could have been better in my opinion. So her rework, her skill 1 does get an additional use, and now her Metsu does 3 HP dumps in total, same for the plus version. Excuse me, the plus version, the difference between that and the regular version is the plus version actually initiates the knockback, which is something that is required for her FR that only she can meet, which we'll get into here in just a second. Her skill 2 does get 2 additional uses, 3 HP dumps on both the regular and the plus version, but the plus version initiates a knockback. Her LD ability, she now starts off with Gust for 6 turns, and that does get upgraded a little bit, so party HP damage up 20%. Whenever the party deals weakness, Brave damage, Brave gain is expanded to the entire party now, and adds post-turn party Brave regen by 70% of max Brave, so that's great. But her LD ability does deal 5 HP dumps in total, which is great compared to the previous 2. I mean, that's a good amount of HP dumps within her kit. And she does recover Brave in between those HP attacks, except for the last, so that's great. The thing is though, is going to be her FR. Her FR, it's not really all that. So 20% increase whenever the party selects a wind ability, or just deal wind Brave damage. And remember, Fujin is able to wind enchant the entire party, so that's not an issue there. And then the 40% when Fujin alone initiates a knockback. Now, her skill 1 and skill 2, the plus version, is able to do that. If I'm not mistaken, her EX ability is also able to do that as well. And that's about it. I don't think her LD ability is able to launch, and now I am curious, so let me double check that real quick before I forget. It does not. So yeah, it's only going to be those 3 skills. So overall though, I mean, like, it's not the best force ability. Like, if anybody in the party was able to launch the enemy and actually take advantage of that 40% increase, then great. But I feel like the reason why they held back is maybe because they thought that it would be a little bit overpowered. But I mean, like, after Cam and all that good stuff, I mean, like, I felt like they could have easily changed that and made it so that like anybody in the party can initiate a knockback. I'm gonna throw some tickets at her FR, but in my opinion, I don't think that her FR is really chase worthy. At the most, you can get her LD, so that way you have that win enchant for future fights where you do need win enchantment, you know, to deal brave damage against a boss that only allows one brave damage. Then picking up her LD would not be a bad idea. But when it comes to her FR, it's not really the best. Like I said, I'll throw about 100, maybe 200 tickets at it, but I'm not going to be chasing. In my opinion, it's not chase-worthy. Unless you are a huge fan of Fujin, then I would say you could probably hold off on it, because in my opinion, it's not really the best. Next up, we're going to talk about Transcendence 10 with Sherlotta and Exdeath. Now, Sherlotta, really all I can say is Brave gains queen. She provides a huge amount of brave gains to the party via her BT effect, via her overhead, via her CCC5. Like, you put that all together, the party gets a huge amount of brave gains, very close to like about 100% brave gains to the party. Close to it, not exactly. I think it's like 80 or 90%. Actually, let me look, because that's gonna bug me knowing that. I can't help it, man. I can't help it. Okay, so let's see. Her BT effect will provide the party with 50% brave gains up. Her overhead provides 20%, so that's 70 right there. And then her C65 provides 10%, so 80%. So 80% brave gains up to the party. That is massive. That is massive, and that is a good amount of brave gains to give to the party. She also provides, via her BT effect, gain max brave overflow, HP damage up, brave regen, and an HP damage cap up as well. Like, she provides a very good amount of support, and she is a character that I will 1000% pull for. When it comes to her FR ability, the conditions are... some players may have a little bit of difficulty in meeting those conditions, but this is more so for her for sure. So whenever the party uses the ability change with a brave or HP attack tree, just basically like if your brave attack command or your HP attack command gets changed, then it will meet that 40% condition. And then the other one, which is for Sherlotta, is whenever she recovers brave to the party except for herself, which, I mean, practically her entire kit is able to do that. So practically, not everything. Also, she is a great FR charger as well to also consider if you're needing an FR charger that's also a BT unit. So yeah, I will definitely be pulling for her kit. She is very, very solid, and I do not regret her one bit, especially because if I'm not mistaken, she is the Ultima weapon, the other weapon type, so which I do have maxed out, so best believe Sherlotta is going to be doing some numbers, baby. Now, when it comes to Exdeath actually does get a pretty good rework. The big change that they did with him is that they made the HP poison potency much greater, so like the numbers are actually like much higher. And I actually used Exdeath for Transcendence 10. I do have that gameplay up on my channel if you want to check that out, so you can see the potencies from his BT effect and all that good stuff, and then of course all the debuffs and whatnot. But like the sad part about it though is that even though he did get an increase in all of that, the force gauge does not apply to it, and I really wish it did, because my god, the freaking dot ticks that you would actually get from his BT effect, from the debuffs that inflict HP poison and all that good stuff. Oh yeah, like I would have blued out Exdeath super quick, but I only gave him his 7-star armor, and that's about it. But his BT effect got extended to 6 turns. Previously it was 3, and it adds all enemies HP poison now by 600%, because he had the original 300, and now it is an additional 300, so that's a very big amount. And then a party attack up 100%, which actually does help out Exdeath, because if I'm not mistaken, his HP poison is based on his attack. Actually, no, I take that back. I think it is for his gravity-based attacks. So that's still going to help him out regardless. Party HP damage up and then party HP damage cap up, which is nice by 30%, which is great. So it's actually a solid BT effect. So if you are needing a character that is able to inflict like HP poison galore, you know, that's just going to be like additional HP damage that the enemy is going to be taking and whatnot. And his BT effect just adds way more to it. So you can only imagine how much like bloop, bloop, bloop you're going to be seeing the entire time whenever you take him into a fight. I did actually green Exdeath, and I may do it again. I'm not 100% sure just yet because I only use them a few times, and I'd hate to do the same thing again on my global account and not really use them like that. But like, if you're wanting a character that is able to just hit the enemy with like HP poisons, he is solid for that. But again, the big bummer about it is that the HP damage bonus does not affect those poison values, which sucks. But I really wish it did. Maybe it might get updated in the future. I don't know. But as of right now, you know, you're really just you're mainly just gonna be getting whatever those HP poisons are going to be without the force gauge being applied to it. But Exdeath does become a very solid character in my opinion. Is he chase worthy? Like I say, it just depends if you want all of that HP poison and whatnot out of him to be affecting the enemy. But overall, pretty solid. Now, Reno, he's going to be getting his FR. He's going to be getting a rework and whatnot. Ash is going to be getting a rework as well. And Alice is just going to be getting her force enhancement levels or force level enhancements. Reno is actually one of my top 10 favorite FRs. And for good reason. And I've talked about this before. With one of my previous in-depth videos comparing his FR to another character's FR. I forgot who it was. But like the reason why he is actually one of my top 10 favorite FRs is because like if I do let the enemy act, I actually do benefit from that. So whenever the party selects a Thunder ability or just deal Thunder Brave damage, Reno does not enchant the party with Thunder, so you're gonna have to use like a call ability or somebody else on the team to help you out with that. Then it increases by 20%. Whenever the enemy's turn ends, increases by 20%. So you pretty much have to let them act, and you gain an easy 20%. And then you also get a 30% whenever the enemy uses a melee or ranged ability, which is great, especially when you're going up against fights or enemies that love to turn hog. And if you know for sure they use melee or ranged abilities, Reno is the best character to use for that fight, especially when you have like counter tanks, off-turn damage dealers. Like they are going to benefit from that greatly, and the HP damage bonus, depending on how many turns the enemy gets or how many turns you actually let them get, can actually increase pretty high, which is why I consider this one of my top 10 favorite FRs. I will be pulling for his FR again. I think it's very solid. I actually I convinced some of the players who were skeptical or were not going to be pulling for his FR to actually consider pulling for his FR, just because like you can actually do a pretty good amount of stuff with it. And like, hey, the enemy is going to hit me, that's fine. I mean, I got debuffs to inflict it in case I actually want to try to deal damage. I have Reno with his LD ability makes it so that they just don't do anything to me at all. So what do I have to worry about? Which is why it is one of my top 10 favorite FRs. So I will be pulling for it again. I already have Alice's kit. I already have Ash's kit. So I'm just going to get the free rework and whatnot. So that is going to be it for that. And then finally, we're going to end it off with Cloud of Darkness. This video has been going on forever, and I apologize. I did not know I was talking that much. But Cloud of Darkness, she is going to be getting her FR. She does get a very solid rework in my opinion. Like, she gets HP dumps galore. So let's take a look at her real quick, and you'll see why. So the rework, her skill 1, 4 HP dumps. That Uncanny Beam, which is a changed change HP command, is now 2 HP dumps in total. Her skill 2 does gain an additional 2 uses, 2 HP dumps in total, and then whenever you get 5 stacks on her overhead, it changes over to the 0 form particle beam, 6 HP dumps. Yeah, she's nasty. And then her LD ability, she now starts off with the balance from Ruin, now for 8 turns instead of the previous 6, and it now deals 5 HP dumps in total. So very, very good rework on her part. I mean, Cloud of Darkness, she is a delayer, but she is also also a very strong damage dealer, and I can appreciate that. When it comes to her FR, in my opinion, is definitely for her. In like 1000%, it is for her. So a 5% increase whenever the party, except for Cloud of Darkness, uses a magic attack command, and this also includes off-turn triggers. A 20% increase whenever the party delays a target, including break, at the end of the turn. A 30% increase whenever the party delays a target, excluding break, at the end of a turn. And then a 5% increase, and you can ignore this 20 because this right here is FR Echo, which Global is not going to be getting for quite a while now. But a 5% increase whenever Cloud of Darkness uses a magic attack command, and this also includes off-turn triggers as well. So, which her BT effect also applies to that, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, her BT effect just adds more on top of it, and you can actually take advantage and gain even more HP damage bonus up. So, it's a very solid FR. Again, it's more catered for her, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, you do have other characters that is able to help you out in terms of like trying to break them, or if you're trying to you know, exclude and break, all that good stuff. Like, there are characters that is able to help you out with that, but in my opinion, like, this is an FR where you are more than likely going to use it if you are going into the BT phase with Cloud of Darkness, because you want to try to get as much of the HP damage bonus as you can with her FR ability active, and then going into BT phase. So for me though, I will probably throw some tickets at her FR. I didn't really use her FR like that, but I mean, I definitely use like her overall kit in general, because again, like, she got a very good rework, and like, she becomes like, in my opinion, she becomes like very strong with everything that she actually got. So I will throw some tickets. I'll probably throw like 100 and 200 tickets and see what's up. But is it necessary? No. And now that I know that her FR gets reran whenever she gets FR boards and she gets access to FR Echo, then at least I know that if I miss it now with the raid event, I can get it later on. Setzer also does get a rework as well, and if I'm not mistaken, Setzer's freeze becomes frame. So let's check that out real quick. His freeze Joker deals 4 HP dumps now, which is great. His red card extension does get an additional 6 uses. 6 HP dumps in total, 50% splash damage, and now extends the 1-turn delay to all enemies, which is great. And then her, not her, excuse me, his LD ability, I'm sorry, it's like, his LD ability now deals 5 HP dumps in total and extends the fixed dice to himself for 12 turns. So easy rainbow numbers for him at a much longer rate. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that his freeze debuff does become framed with this rework. Don't quote me on that, I cannot remember, but I do believe that is when it actually does happen. But if you don't have Setzer, Setzer is fantastic as a regular call ability. His LD ability just provides like some party ores, and that's about it, but nothing too crazy. But like, really, you're wanting that freeze debuff, because there are going to be some fights in the future where you are wanting to have that freeze debuff, because that prevents the enemy from just basically not getting any brave at all. So like, you definitely want to have something or some type of debuff with that type of mechanic to prevent the enemies from gaining any brave and whatnot. So yeah, if you don't have Setzer, I would personally recommend picking it up if you need that type of like debuff. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Let me know what your plans are going to be as well for the month of August down in the comment section below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.